Hello everyone and welcome back guys to episode 3 of my F1 1980s career mode, and today we are here at one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. It's time for the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa. Really looking forward to this Grand Prix, and so far this season the race pace has been quite good. If you have missed out on the first couple of episodes, I would highly recommend going back and checking them out. But P8 on the grid, ready for this Belgian Grand Prix. Probably not the ideal place to be started, but hopefully, we can try and make up positions early on in the race. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. On the grid though, ready for the Belgian Grand Prix. If I'm not mistaken, Michael Schumacher is on the pole for this race. Obviously, if we don't run any qualifying in this series, Mika Hakkinen 6th and myself, one row behind him, down in P8. We're just spat on wherever the grid tells me that I'm put. But here we are then, on the grid, ready for the Belgian Grand Prix. We have got 10 red lights to start this 1980s classic race, and it's the lights out and away we go, and off to once more a very wheel spinny start there, just struggling to try and put the power down. But as we come down in towards turn one, just going to try and keep it nice and clean on the outside there. Just see a couple of cars on the inside, a couple of cars running wide though on the exit, the corner there, and we're able to make up quite a few positions there. Up into P5 is Hakkinen, Hill, and I think that was Andretti's teammate. I think that was Fittipaldi making a mistake on turn one there. So we're going to make up a couple of positions off the start now, and in the slipstream of Mario Andretti here, coming down, there's a long back Kemmel straight here, nearly pushing up towards 200 miles an hour here. Are we going to be able to have a look down the inside into the next corner? We're going to think about going for a move. We are going to go for a move there. Andretti gets caught out trying to get by Schumacher there, all over the shop side, keeping it facing the right direction. But we now move up into P4. Do not question what that line is through the next corner. That was absolutely terrible by myself. But up into P4 of this Grand Prix, nice and early on, and Schumacher from pole has not had the ideal start to this race, getting slipstreamed down the Kemmel straight all the way down in P3. You can see already the top guys are just pulling away from the rest of the field, and as I say that, you can see Michael Schumacher just appears out of nowhere from off the circuit. Not really too sure what's happened to him there, but we have to take evasive action in through the final chicane here. And yeah, Schumacher now in my clutches here. We might try and go for a move down in towards turn one here, but unfortunately we just don't have the power. We think about going for a move, but we think better of it there as we come through turn one here. Still all over the back of Michael Schumacher here, but just look at how much better drive that Ferrari does get off turn one. Absolutely ridiculous. Just no chance we're going to be able to keep up with him as of now. But in the slipstream up the Kemmel straight, no, we completely missed the apex through Eau Rouge. Nearly did exactly what we did in my McLaren Honda career mode on F1 2017 there, but fortunately from this one we do come out a little less scathed there. But you can see now 2 laps later, and Schumacher has just absolutely bolted once again. Those 2 Ferraris, and I think it was Nigel Mansell, just ridiculously quick during this Grand Prix. But we're under a lot of pressure once again from Andretti, breaking it down into the final chicane here, and we're now going to dive it in to the pits for my one and hopefully only stop of the Grand Prix there, rubbing up against the wall ever so slightly on the entrance to the pit lane there. But yeah, we got Andretti all over the back of me here, and hopefully we can try and stay out ahead of him in this pit stop window here. Going on to a set of the prime tyres here. It's going to be a 5.9 second pit stop there, so not ideal, but we do just about hold it out ahead of Mario Andretti there. Very ideal. Able to hold on to our place for now as we come out of the pit lane. We're going to be all the way down in P7 at the moment. We know there's not too much to worry about as of now, but we've got Andretti still, he's less than a second behind him. Potentially, if we get a bit of a bad run up Eau Rouge, he could potentially try and go for a bit of a move as we go through the corner. Fairly well done, I think, on the whole. But Andretti has got a ridiculous run on me. Around the outside he goes there. We're going to have to tuck back into the slipstream to try and have any sort of chance to try and get anywhere near him down into the corner. But breaking down into the next corner there, we completely missed our braking point there. And we have completely taken out Mario Andretti, and I can only apologise to him. Completely my fault. We just got completely caught out by the point that he broke. And, just tried to move out of the way and then just swung straight back into him there. Unfortunately, the back end snapped on me. Yeah, but a drive-through penalty there. Really costly. Not exactly what I would have wanted in this Grand Prix. But yeah, completely my fault. Completely accept that. So we're going to have to dive it back into the pit lane on the end of a lap 6 here. Struggling actually to get the car turned in. Just, once you have incidents like that, it really does demotivate you there. But into the pit lane once more. And yeah, that's basically going to put pay to my Grand Prix, unfortunately. There, just that, well, I say tiny bit, it was a massive hit, in all fairness, to Paul Mario Andretti there. But fortunately for both of us, we are both able to continue on racing. Now, Andretti still, he's only a couple of seconds up the road there, as you can see, as we come out of the pits. We hold on in P8 because Prost and Jones, you know, their cars are absolutely terrible relative to the rest of the field here. But potentially, you know, if we put some good laps in, we could try and close back up on Mario Andretti. As you can see now, skipping on just a few corners later here. Andretti is still just a couple of seconds up the road as we come through the hairpin. He's running rich revs to try and make a bit of a gap over myself, but as we come through no-named corner here, actually getting off to quite a nice exit there. As you can see, coming down this next straight, no idea what Andretti's done there to bin it down the straight, but now we move back up into P7 of the Grand Prix there. Unfortunately, you know, you haven't got any of these good replay cameras like we have on the modern F1 games there, but Andretti, yeah, no idea how he's binned it that far down the straight, unless he just got caught out of the grass and was just never able to save the car again. But now, on to the end of lap 8 here, and unfortunately, you know, that race sort of calmed down a bit. We came under a bit of pressure from Andretti towards the end. He was about 1.2, 1.3 seconds back throughout most of this final stint. You know, he was doing a little bit quicker than me, but I was playing quite a conservative race. You know, wanted to just try and take home the 6 points that, you know, really not ideal for my championship, but hopefully, you know, it's not too bad. But so we now skip on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Andretti, yeah, nothing he was going to be able to do. You can see the gap actually opened up to about 2 seconds once more, but Nigel Mansell comes through to win the Belgian Grand Prix there. If I'm not mistaken, that's 3 different winners in the first 3 races of the season there. I presume the Ferraris came through in P2 and P3 there, but P6 for me, certainly not the race I would have wanted in this Grand Prix. As you can see, breaking down in towards the final chicane one final time there. Really, really disappointed with that. Only 6 points on the board, man. Really, we should have scored a lot more than that, but, you know, 6 points, still, it could have been a whole lot worse. But yeah, in the end then, as I said, Nigel Mansell able to take home the race victory. Michael Schumacher at P2 and Gerhard Berger in P3. Mika Hakkinen in P4, my teammate there, 16 seconds off the front, guys. So it really just shows, you know, those guys were a second of that quicker than anyone else. Emerson Fittipaldi in P5, Damon Hill 6th, myself in P7, Mario Andretti P8, and Alain Prost 9th, and Alan Jones to round out the field there down in P10. But yeah, everyone actually able to finish that race, which is quite a surprise in this career mode. But having a look then overall at the driver's standings, we're still at P3, but we're now 15 points behind Michael Schumacher, who leads the way. Nigel Mansell, after that win, able to close down the gap quite a bit to Michael Schumacher there, so just 6 points between those two. Berger is in P4 with my teammate Hakkinen in P5. With he's only about 12 points behind myself at the moment, so it's looking fairly good for him. But Damon Hill in 6th, Fittipaldi 7th. And I think, obviously, you've got Andretti 8th and the 2 Williams at the very back there. But having a look at the constructors' standings, we are very, very close with the FW12 team there. Just 3 points separate the pair of us there. But yeah, hopefully, you know, you guys have still enjoyed this video. Do not forget to like, subscribe if you're new around here and you want to see more of my F1 1980s career mode. But I will see you guys next time out at, I actually don't know the Grand Prix yet. Well, I think it's actually the Monaco Grand Prix.